My name is Brooke Pierce, and I'm 31 years old. On paper, my life looks like the kind that makes landlords and loan officers lean back in their chairs and say, "You're exactly the kind of tenant we like." I have a stable job, a decent emergency fund, a one-bedroom apartment where every piece of furniture was bought with a coupon and a spreadsheet open on my laptop. The lease is in my name. The utilities are in my name. The chipped mugs in my kitchen cabinet sit beside a color-coded budget binder that tells me exactly what day every bill is due. For a long time, I thought my love life matched that same quiet, responsible stability. I'd been with my boyfriend, Nathan Hayes, for 3 years. He's 29, charming, funny, a little impulsive in that still figuring it out kind of way that people excuse in their late 20s. He works in music production, which means his schedule is chaos, his sleep patterns are a rumor, and his idea of planning ahead is buying concert tickets a week in advance instead of the day of. Where I think in timelines and backup plans, Nathan thinks in vibes. It used to feel like balance. The story I'm about to tell you starts on a Thursday morning with coffee, scrambled eggs, and a lie that tried to pass itself off as love. We were at my tiny kitchen table, him scrolling through his phone, me flipping through my binder to see if I could pay my student loan a week early. The sunlight was coming in at that soft angle it gets just before it turns into "you're going to be late for work" light. Nathan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, then froze. I watched the color drain from his face like someone had opened a drain inside his chest. His eyes went wide and his mouth fell open. The phone slipped in his hand. "What's wrong?" I asked, already pushing my chair back. He swallowed, blinked hard, and then suddenly there were tears. Real ones. His voice came out rough. "It's my grandma, Helen. My mom says she had a massive stroke. They don't know if she's going to make it." In less than 10 seconds, the entire mood in the apartment shifted. My brain flipped from pay bills to triage. "Oh my God, Nathan." I stood and went to his side, putting my hand on his shoulder. He was shaking. "What did your mom say? Is she at the hospital?" He nodded, holding the phone out like it was evidence of something too heavy for him to carry alone. "They're all there. Mom, Dad, my sister. She said I should come if I can, but it's 4 hours away and His voice broke. "I'll drive you," I said immediately. "I'll call work. I'll take the day. We can pack a bag and be on the road in 30 minutes. He pulled away, wiping his face with the heel of his hand. No, you've got deadlines, and I don't want you to have to deal with all of that. I should go by myself. I need to process." That word stuck with me later. Process. At the time, it sounded mature. "Nathan, I don't care about deadlines," I insisted. "Your grandmother might be dying. You shouldn't have to do this alone." He shook his head harder, almost panicked. "Brooke, please, I just need to drive, put some music on, clear my head. I'll text you when I get there. I don't want you to see me like this." That part wasn't true. I'd seen him uglier than this, hungover, sick, crying over dumb fights with his dad. But when someone says their grandmother might not live through the weekend, you don't argue about logistics. You just love them. "Okay," I said quietly, "if you're sure." He nodded, already on his feet. I watched him throw clothes into a duffel with shaking hands. His keys clattered on the counter. His phone kept lighting up with messages. On his way out, I hugged him. He clung to me like I was a life raft. "I'm so sorry," I whispered into his shoulder. "Text me when you get there. I'll send something to the hospital. Tell your mom I'm thinking about her, and Helen." He nodded into my hair. "You're amazing. I don't deserve you," he said, voice breaking. Sometimes people tell the truth accidentally. The first day he texted a few times. Made it to the hospital. Still critical. Mom's a mess. I sent flowers to the hospital name he gave me, along with a note, thinking of Helen and the whole family. Brooke. I checked my phone every few minutes like it was a heartbeat monitor. Every time his name lit up my screen, relief flooded me. Every time it didn't, I imagined waiting rooms and beeping machines and doctors using words like damage and if she makes it through the night. By Saturday afternoon, his messages had slowed to vague updates. Might be here a while. Family is devastated. Doctor saying maybe days. I believed every single word. Because why wouldn't I? That afternoon, I was sprawled on my couch, half watching some mindless show and half scrolling through Instagram. One of my friends from college, Diana, had posted a story. It autoplayed after some brunch photo and a sunset shot. Loud music, flashing stage lights, a sea of people screaming. She'd tagged a location, Resonance Festival, 2 states over. I nearly tapped past it without thinking. Then I saw it. In the blurry crowd, for half a second, the camera panned just enough. Nathan, laughing, dancing, his arms around a petite, dark-haired woman in a sequined top. She turned her head just slightly, and even in crap festival lighting, I recognized her. Tia Moreno, his ex-girlfriend, the one who'd done 18 months for assault and possession, the one he'd sworn he cut off for good when we got serious. The world narrowed down to a tunnel. I replayed the video, paused, zoomed in. There was no mistaking him. His favorite faded band t-shirt, the little scar on his jaw from when he'd fallen off his skateboard in college, the neon wristband, his face thrown back in carefree laughter. The timestamp said the story had been posted 20 minutes ago. My hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. I stared at the screen, at the man who was supposedly sitting vigil at his dying grandmother's bedside, screaming lyrics at a festival stage with his ex pressed against him. I backed out of the story and went to my messages. "How's your grandma?" I typed. My thumb hovered over the send button like maybe, if I didn't press it, reality wouldn't solidify. I sent it. An hour passed. Nothing. When his reply finally came, it said, "Not good. Doctor saying maybe days. Can't talk. Family praying together." My vision actually blurred. I took a screenshot of Diana's story, zoomed in, circled them with my finger like I needed proof for myself. Then I did something that would change everything. I called Diana. She answered on the second ring, voice hoarse from yelling over music. "Brooke, you should have come. This festival is insane." "Hey," I said, calm in that way that feels like the air right before a storm. "Quick question. Are you at Resonance Festival?" "Yeah, girl, I just posted from—" "I saw, is Nathan there?" She hesitated. "Nathan Hayes?" "Yeah, I saw him earlier. He was with this tatted-up girl. I figured you guys must have broken up. Wait, did you not—" "Thanks, Di," I cut in softly. "Have fun, okay?" I hung up before she could finish the question. I sat in my living room and let the silence press down on me until it hurt. Then I stood up, picked up my phone again, and did what felt surgical. I called his mother. "Brooke, sweetheart," Patricia answered, warm as always. "Is everything okay? Did Nathan make it to the hospital?" My heart beat once, hard. "That's actually why I'm calling," I said. "I just wanted to check in about Helen. How is she? Is there anything I can do? Send food to the hospital? Help with arrangements?" There was a pause on the other end. A real one. Not bad reception. Not a hiccup. "What are you talking about?" Patricia finally asked. My fingers tightened around the phone. "About Helen's stroke," I said slower. "Nathan said she'd had a massive stroke and might not make it. He said you were all at the hospital." Another pause, longer. "Brooke," she said, and her voice was different now. "Helen is in her kitchen right now, making lunch. We spoke to Nathan yesterday. He told us he was staying in this weekend with you." I closed my eyes. For a second, I felt something crack cleanly inside my chest. Not a shatter, a split, a fault line finally giving way. "Patricia," I said quietly, "I need to tell you something." I told her everything. The tearful phone call, the shaking hands, the rushed packing, the texts about doctors and prayers and maybe days, the hospital name, the flowers. I didn't mention the video yet. I wanted to be very, very precise. By the time I finished, Patricia's breath had gone from confused to furious. "That lying little Harold!" she yelled away from the phone. "Get in here." I heard the muffled sound of footsteps, a man's voice in the background. "What's wrong?" "Our son told Brooke that your mother had a stroke so he could run off to party." Patricia came back on the line. "Do you have proof?" she asked, her voice like steel now. "Yes, ma'am," I said. "I have a video from a friend at Resonance Festival. Nathan is in the background with Tia." "Send it," she snapped. I texted the screenshot and the video clip. 5 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time it was Nathan. "What did you do?" He snapped the second I answered. No hello, no pretense. His voice was thick with anger and panic. "Hi," I said evenly. "How's your grandmother?" "Cut the crap, Brooke. My dad just called me screaming." "You called my parents." "I wanted to send flowers to your dying grandmother," I said. Imagine my surprise. "It was just a white lie," he shot back. "Everyone does this. You're seriously going to snitch on me like a child?" I laughed once, sharp and humorless. "A white lie is saying you're 5 minutes away when you haven't left your apartment," I said. "You faked a medical emergency and your grandmother's deathbed to go party with your ex-girlfriend with a criminal record." "Tia's reformed, and it's just a festival," he said. "God, you're so dramatic." "Am I?" I asked. "Hold on, someone's calling me." His name flashed on my screen right under the incoming call. Harold. I smiled without meaning to. "1 second, I told Nathan and switched lines. "Hi, Harold." Brooke, his father said, voice like ice, can you put Nathan on speaker? I want him to hear this. Gladly, I said. I merged the calls. Nathan? I said sweetly. Your dad's on the line. Daddy, I can explain, Nathan started. Do it, Harold cut in. Explain to me why your grandmother spent 3 days wondering why her grandson didn't love her enough to visit when she invited you last month, but you'll use her fake death as an excuse to party. Explain why your mother is currently calling every relative to tell them there is no stroke and they can stop preparing condolences. Dad, she's making it sound worse, Nathan tried. You lied, Harold said. You lied to your girlfriend. You lied to us. You dragged my mother's name into it. You want to act single with that girl who helped get you arrested last time? Congratulations. You're on your own. Dad, come on, don't, Your credit card? The one I pay for? Canceled. Your phone? Shut off tomorrow. Insurance on your car? Done. You want to be a grown man who lies? Pay your own bills. And then he hung up. For a second, there was just breathing on the line. Then Nathan's breath hitched into a sob. Look what you did, he choked. You ruined my life over nothing. No, I said, my voice finally as cold as I felt. You ruined your relationship with your family over nothing. I just told the truth. You're not seriously breaking up with me over this, he scoffed, the anger flaring again. It was one weekend. Actually, I said, I'm breaking up with you for lying, gaslighting me, and choosing your ex over basic decency. Your stuff will be in boxes by the door. You have until tomorrow night to pick them up. Where am I supposed to go? He demanded. Maybe Tia has room, I said. Or maybe they've got vacancy where you two first bonded. I hear the cells are spacious now. You're insane, he spat. I'm coming home right now and we're going to talk like adults. No, we're not, I said. Your key won't work. I've already emailed the landlord about removing you from my file. Building security will have your photo with a do not admit note by the time you get here. There was a long pause. You're serious? He whispered. As a stroke, I said. He hung up. I stared at my phone for a moment, then set it down and pulled a stack of old boxes out from my closet. By the time the sun went down, every one of his things was taped shut and lined up by the door. His sister Sophia texted me around 9. You're being petty, she wrote. He's devastated. It was just a mistake. His best friend Jason chimed in an hour later. You're toxic for involving his parents. That was between you two. I looked at both messages, felt the familiar pull toward defending myself, explaining, justifying. Then I put my phone face down, turned off the lights, and went to bed. I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Tomorrow, when Nathan came to get his things, the real drama would start. The next day started with the kind of quiet that means something's coming. Not the gentle kind of silence, the heavy one that hums beneath your skin waiting for the first crack. By noon, my phone was already vibrating on the counter. Nathan. Then again. Then again. When I didn't pick up, the intercom buzzed. Ms. Pierce, came the familiar voice of Chuck, the head of building security. A retired Marine with a resting scowl and the patience of a saint. Your ex-boyfriend's here. Says he's here to pick up his belongings. He's got someone with him. I felt my stomach tighten. Someone? I went to my apartment's video monitor, and there he was. Nathan, standing by the front desk in a hoodie and sunglasses like he was auditioning for Regret the Musical. And next to him, Tia, her long black hair pulled into a high ponytail, tattoos climbing up both arms like vines, chewing gum while giving the security camera the kind of look that says, I dare you. Of course he brought her. I took a slow breath, made sure my voice was steady, and pressed the intercom. Hey, Chuck. He's not on my guest list anymore. His things are in the mailroom. Please escort them both there. Nathan immediately looked up at the camera, his eyes catching mine through the screen. Brooke, this is ridiculous. His voice echoed faintly through the lobby speakers. You can't just lock me out of my own apartment. It's not your apartment, I said, leaning close to the mic. You were a guest. That guest pass expired. He slammed his hand against the glass. I'm not leaving until you let me in. Tia stepped closer to him, smirking, loud enough for the mic to catch. Babe, let's just go. She's not worth it. I could see him flinch at the word babe, then turn back to the camera. This is illegal, Brooke. You can't just... Chuck, tell her. I have rights. Chuck looked unimpressed. Not here, you don't. Come on, man. Boxes are down there. You've got 10 minutes. Nathan glared at the camera. Tell them to let me in, Brooke, or I'll come up there myself. I tilted my head slightly. You could try, but security has orders to call the cops if you step past the front desk. Tia laughed, loud, mocking. Wow, she's really got you trained, huh? Shut up, Tia, he muttered, but she was still grinning. Should have known she'd be one of those girls. Probably color codes her revenge plans. Chuck's voice interrupted. Boxes are ready, folks. Let's go. Nathan's shoulders tightened. I'm not taking orders from some rent-a-cop. Marine, Chuck corrected, his tone bone dry. 64 years old and still faster than you. Try me. That shut him up. I could have turned off the camera then. Could have walked away, but I didn't. Because when someone shows you what they think they can get away with, you pay attention. As Chuck walked them toward the mailroom, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Patricia, Nathan's mother. Brooke, I'm sorry to bother you, she said, her voice low but tight. Nathan's been telling people you were abusive, that you threw him out because he went to see his sick grandmother. I blinked. He what? Oh, I know it's a lie, Patricia said quickly. That's why I commented on his Facebook post with the screenshot you sent me, the one of him and Tia at the festival. For a second, I didn't process. You commented on it? Oh, yes, she said, sounding almost proud. His father added, Your grandmother is playing tennis right now. Stop lying. The post was deleted within minutes, but not before the entire family saw it. His aunt's group chat is on fire. Despite myself, I laughed, quiet, disbelieving. That's one way to handle it. Sweetheart, don't you ever apologize for telling the truth, she said. You did the right thing. By the time I hung up, I could already see on the camera that Nathan was mid-tantrum. He'd opened one of the boxes, throwing items onto the floor. A stack of his old records, a few shirts, his broken headphones. You didn't pack my car keys, he yelled into his phone, which I assumed was me, but I hadn't answered. Brooke, where's my key fob? I picked up the call this time. In the apartment, I said evenly. Your car isn't registered here anymore. You've got about 3 minutes before the tow truck arrives. You can't tow my car! I didn't, I said. Building management did. Non-residents can't park in the tenant garage. You should have read the lease I signed. You're such a... I'm organized, I interrupted. There's a difference. Behind him, Tia was leaning against her car, clearly bored. Let's just go, Nathan. This is embarrassing. He spun around. Don't tell me what to do. That's when Chuck, bless his patience, stepped forward again. You've got 2 minutes, son. Make it count. Nathan's jaw clenched. His voice dropped. Fine, but this isn't over. Oh, it's very over, I said softly and hung up. Later that evening, as I was curling up on my couch with a cup of tea, my phone buzzed again. This time, with a message from an unknown number, the text preview showed a single line. You're a pathetic little woman. I was going to dump you anyway. Tia's twice the person you'll ever be. I stared at it for a long time, then typed a reply. Cool. Does Tia know you texted me at 2 a.m. last week, saying you missed me while she was asleep next to you? He didn't respond. 20 minutes later, my phone lit up with a different number. Tia. I didn't answer, but I saw her name flash twice, then disappear. By 10 p.m., I got a message from Sophia, Nathan's sister. Trevor just dumped her on the side of the highway with her boxes. She's hysterical. I hope you're happy. I stared at that text for a long moment. Then, almost involuntarily, a small, exhausted smile crept across my face. Actually, yeah, Sophia, I am. That night, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was sad, but because I was still. Like the world had gone quiet after months of static. My apartment felt clean in a way it hadn't in years. Not physically, but energetically. No half-packed duffel bag. No, I'll pay you back later. No walking on eggshells around his moods. Just me, my chipped mugs, my budget binder, and silence. It wasn't the peace I'd imagined. It was sharper, lonelier, but real. And I knew deep down this wasn't the last I'd hear from him. People like Nathan don't accept consequences. They rewrite them. 3 days passed. 3 long, quiet, deceptively peaceful days. I thought maybe that was it, that the drama had burned itself out. But people like Nathan don't disappear when their lies collapse. They scramble for new ones. By Wednesday morning, the first ripple hit. I was halfway through my coffee when my work phone rang. The caller ID said HR, internal. Hi, this is Brooke. Hi, Brooke. This is Nancy from HR, said the woman's bright, professional voice. I wanted to discuss a matter that was brought to our attention regarding a harassment complaint. I froze. I'm sorry, what? She sighed, clearly annoyed on my behalf. A man named Nathan Hayes filed a report claiming you'd created a hostile environment and were contacting him repeatedly after he ended the relationship. I let out a short, incredulous laugh. Nancy, we don't even work in the same industry. He's a freelance audio producer. I've had 0 contact except for him showing up uninvited to my building last weekend. That's what I figured, she said. He sent screenshots as proof, but... I could hear her typing. The timestamps show he cropped out his own messages. Do you have the originals? Oh, do I said. I'd kept everything. Every text, every call log, a digital breadcrumb trail of who contacted who. Within an hour, HR had a full copy of our conversations, including the ones where Nathan begged me to take him back, threatened to ruin my life, then pretended to be the victim. Nancy actually chuckled when she called back. Brooke, this might be the most poorly fabricated claim I've ever seen. We'll document it as a fraudulent harassment report. Would you like us to send him a cease and desist letter? Yes, I said, smiling for the first time that morning. Please do. That afternoon, the second ripple hit. Nathan's mom, Patricia, texted me again. You might want to sit down for this. Then she attached a screenshot. It was Nathan's Facebook post, a long paragraph written like a dramatic apology letter to the universe. When people betray you after everything you've done for them, you see their true colors. I gave love and got control in return. She lied about me, turned my family against me, and tried to ruin my reputation. I just wanted peace. The comments were mixed. Friends posting heart emojis, others asking, what happened? And then Patricia's comment appeared right beneath it. You lied to that woman and to your family. Don't rewrite history. Your grandmother is alive, well, and playing doubles at the country club right now. Under that, Harold chimed in. You're not the victim, son. Grow up. The post was deleted within 15 minutes, but not before it got screenshotted by at least 10 people. Thursday morning, the next wave came, financial desperation. Nathan texted me from an unknown number. I need $400 for my car impound fee. You owe me for emotional distress. I stared at the screen, took a long sip of coffee, and blocked the number. A few hours later, Patricia called again, barely containing exasperation. Brooke, he's been begging us for money since we cut him off, she said. He got pulled over driving without insurance. His license is suspended. He told the officer he was recovering from trauma. I pinched the bridge of my nose. That sounds like him. Don't worry, she added. We didn't bail him out. Sometimes you have to let a person fall hard enough to hear the truth hit the ground. I love that woman. That night, the phone rang again. But this time, it wasn't Patricia. It was Helen, his grandmother. Her sweet, trembly voice came through the line. Brooke, dear, Nathan said there's been some kind of misunderstanding about me. I hesitated. What exactly did he tell you? That you were upset he went to visit me while I was unwell. I closed my eyes. Helen, he told me you'd had a stroke. He said you were dying. He even gave me a hospital name. There was silence, then a soft, steady inhale. That ungrateful little weasel, she muttered. I haven't set foot in a hospital in 2 years. My blood pressure's better than his father's. I almost laughed, but there was something deeply sad beneath it. I'm sorry you had to get pulled into this, I said. Oh, don't you apologize, dear, she said firmly. He used my name to manipulate you. I'm writing him out of my will. You were too good for him. Please don't. It's already done, she interrupted, voice surprisingly strong. Actions have consequences. He can learn that the hard way. For a few days, it went quiet again. I thought maybe he'd finally accepted the reality of what he'd lost. Then came the gym incident. Saturday morning. My sanctuary. Headphones in, treadmill on, endorphins doing their quiet repair work. Until I spotted her. Tia, leaning against the wall by the weight racks, scrolling through her phone. My stomach sank, because if Tia was here, that meant Nathan wasn't far behind. Sure enough, as I turned toward the exit an hour later, there he was, standing by the glass doors, feigning surprise like a bad actor. Brooke? Wow, what a coincidence. No, I said flatly, taking out my earbuds. It's not. He stepped closer, smile practiced. Can we talk? No. He tried to hug me. I stepped back. Don't. Tia, about 10 feet away, lifted her phone, recording. Nathan looked at her, then back at me. Why won't you hug me? Are you scared of me? Ah, so that was the play. He wanted footage of me looking cold, heartless, cruel, something to feed whatever victim story he was crafting next. I crossed my arms. I don't hug people who fake family deaths. A few chuckles erupted from the nearby benches. Nathan's face twitched. It was one time. My friend Kayla, who'd been spotting someone nearby, walked over, eyebrows raised. One time? How many grandmas do you plan on killing off, dude? Tia lowered the camera, confused. Wait, what? Nathan glared at her. Stay out of it. Kayla smirked. Oh, I'm not out of it. I'm enjoying it. Nathan turned back to me, voice rising. You're just vindictive. You can't move on. You want everyone to think I'm a monster. You did that yourself, I said quietly. All I did was stop covering for you. He stepped closer, eyes bright with anger. You know what? Maybe I'll tell everyone you're crazy. Or better yet, his lips curled, that you're gay. That's why you won't take me back. Kayla barked out a laugh so loud half the gym turned to look. Sweetheart, she said, wiping her eyes, I am gay. And trust me, no self-respecting woman on this planet would fake her grandma's death for attention. So if you're trying to insult someone, aim better. The whole scene froze. Nathan's mouth opened, closed. Tia looked like she wanted to evaporate. Kayla tilted her head. Exits that way, liar boy. Nathan muttered something, turned on his heel, and stormed out. Tia lingered a moment longer, then shook her head, pocketed her phone, and followed him without a word. When the gym door swung shut behind them, I felt nothing. No thrill of victory, no vengeance high, just exhaustion. That's the thing about people like him. They drain you long after they're gone. But sometimes, silence is the win. 2 weeks later, the silence broke again, this time with a letter. It arrived in a plain white envelope, no return address, postmarked from across town. Inside was a single sheet of paper from some budget legal service, typed in cheap font and dramatic language. Demand for payment and damages, it said at the top. Nathan, through his legal representative, was demanding $2,000 for unlawful eviction, $3,000 for emotional distress, and the return of personal gifts valued at $500. I read it twice, slowly, like maybe if I blinked differently, it would make sense. Then I laughed, because the gifts listed included a secondhand Xbox game, a flannel shirt I'd bought him for Christmas, and a pair of novelty socks that said World's Okayest Boyfriend. I scanned the letter and sent it to my cousin Liam, who's a paralegal and the kind of man who can smell nonsense through a PDF. His reply came 5 minutes later. 1. He was never a tenant, just a guest. 2. Emotional damages from his own lies aren't compensable. 3. $500 for socks? Tell him to itemize the delusion. Then, as a cherry on top, Liam added, also, I'm sending his lawyer a professional email that basically says, bless your heart. I hadn't realized until that moment that laughter could taste like freedom. A few nights later, I was finishing dinner when my phone rang again. The caller ID made me pause. Harold Hayes. Brooke, he said when I answered, his tone strangely neutral. Thought you should know. Nathan came to us this week asking if we'd co-sign a loan for him. A loan? $10,000, Harold said flatly. Said he wanted to start over in California. New life, new business, new beginning. You know how that goes. And you told him? Harold chuckled, low and humorless. We laughed. Then he called us controlling and accused us of ruining his future. In the background, I heard Patricia's voice. Tell her what your mother said. Harold sighed. Helen was there. She told him he's getting exactly what he deserves. I closed my eyes and smiled. Good for her. Brooke, Harold said after a pause, I just wanted you to know we're sorry. We didn't see the signs. We should have known he was lying through his teeth. You couldn't have known, I said softly. He's good at pretending until the story breaks. That's true, Harold admitted, but when it breaks loud. He wasn't wrong. 3 days later, my phone lit up with a message from Sophia, his sister. Hey Brooke, FYI, Nathan got arrested last night. I sat up straight. For what? Shoplifting. From Target. $200 worth of stuff. Oh my God. Yeah, the funny part? He had $300 cash in his wallet. What did he even say? Told security he deserved nice things after everything he's been through. I stared at the screen, half horrified, half unsurprised. His parents bailed him out? Nope. They said, actions, consequences. He's got a public defender now. Wow. Yeah, he's living with some girl he met in court-ordered therapy, still telling everyone he's the victim. Of course he is. I don't know how you dealt with him for 3 years. Patience and spreadsheets. Sophia sent back a single emoji. That night, as I sat alone on my couch, my living room finally reclaimed, quiet and peaceful, a text from an unknown number came through. I'm sorry, you were right. I need help. I stared at it for a long time. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Then I locked the phone, set it face down, and went back to my book. Because here's the truth. No one tells you about closure. It isn't about answers or apologies. It's about reaching the point where you no longer need either. It's been 6 months since then. Nathan's name doesn't come up much anymore, except occasionally when Patricia texts me recipes or Helen calls to ask if I've met anyone normal yet. Normal. I have, actually. There's someone new. His name's Evan. I met him at my climbing gym. He's quiet, grounded, the kind of person who doesn't flinch at honesty. We laughed about our mutual crazy ex stories on our third date. When I told him the whole saga, the fake stroke, the festival, the family meltdown, he just nodded and said, "My ex faked his mom having cancer to skip my sister's wedding and go to Vegas." I laughed so hard I cried. People like that exist in the wild. They create their own chaos, then cry victim when the fallout hits. But eventually, the world catches up. That's what Nathan never understood. You can fake a tragedy, but you can't fake the truth forever. You can lie about love, but lies have expiration dates. And sometimes, the most satisfying revenge is simply living the life they pretended to want. So if you ever find yourself staring at a screen, realizing someone you love lied so deeply you can't tell where the truth ends and the performance begins, take a breath. Don't chase the lie. Don't fight to prove you're right. Just step back. Because the truth always handles itself. And when it does, you'll be standing exactly where you're meant to be, free.